Here's a simple array using C#. So File, New Project. And I'm going to make a console application. Give it a legal name. Make sure I know where it's being saved at. Solution name, I'm going to leave the same. And okay. And it builds our code snippet for us. We have some using statements. Most of these we really don't need. I'm going to use the using system. So system is a resource, contains code, and when I say using, it automatically includes that code in my program. So I don't need to write it from scratch. It's already there. It's already been built, and I can use that. Inside of my namespace right now I have one class. The default name is program, and inside of that class, here's the beginning and the end of the class, I have a method, and this method is called main. If I wanted to, I could rename this program. I'm going to highlight it, right click it, and type rename, and I'm going to give it a new name. I'll call it Arrays Demo 1. And it will go through and refactor or find all the instances of where it had program and change that. Okay, so the code I'm going to place right now is in between the curly braces of my main method, so I'm going to place it in that code block. And here's the code that I've created. I'm going to make an array, these two square brackets of doubles. So in the computer's memory, I'm going to go block out a location and make an array, which is a bunch of data right next to each other, a bunch of memory locations right next to each other. And the only thing I'm going to be able to put in there are double data types, or in other words, numbers with decimal values. I'm going to give it a name, and this name of my array, I'm going to start off with lowercase and then camel case to where the next word starts with a capital letter, and then I'm going to assign to that a list of numbers. And in this case I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers that I'm assigning to that array. Put them in curly braces, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to display what's been stored in that array. So I'm going to use a loop to go through and do that automatically. But before I do that, how if I comment that out for now, let's just do it this way. I'm going to do a console write line. And I'm going to say let's see what array value 0 is. And I'm going to put my placeholder in there. Say go ahead and take that first one after the comma, and I'm going to say pay rate, and I'm going to say now on the arrays, what you want to do is that instead of these parentheses, you want to use the square braces. So make sure that these are square and not parentheses. Okay, that's a pretty common error. And then also you want to start off with 0, because computers start counting at 0. To the computer, this is the very first position. This first value here is the first position. And let me make that a little bigger. Okay, so we can see that. Okay. And then I'm going to pause outputs. I'm going to use to pause output. Okay, so I'm going to, when I run this, I'm going to bring up my console window, and I'm going to write this line, this literal line out there. My placeholder is going to be replaced with whatever is in position 0 of that array. So when I go to debug, start debugging, okay, and there's my output. Array value equals, and then the placeholder was replaced with that very first value. And when it ran, it came up with 6. Now, I didn't put the ending zeros on there, so I can change that to where it will display those. Dot operator and toString method. Okay. And I'm going to format that with, oops, put this in double quotes, currency 2 places. Okay, now let's try it again. So I converted this into a string. This is a number or double data type, and this is a string that I'm displaying. And so when I'm replacing this, it would be nice to put this to make this number, turn this number into a string. So that's what I'm doing here. So debug, start debugging, and it, oops, did what I told it to do, which is format that as currency with 2 decimal places. So as you can see, I can go pull up any one of those values. Now this array, let's see what we've got. Let me use Excel to demonstrate this. So say this is in my computer's memory. Each cell location is a location of the computer's memory, and what we do is that we end up, let me see if I can frame these, is that when we create this array, we go into a particular place in the computer's memory, and then we start putting these values in. And then the next location next to that, and the next location after that would be, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you get the point, is that in your computer's memory, the first one would be at position 0, the next one would be at position 1, the next one would be at position 2. Okay, so instead of doing those individually, what I can do is that I can use a loop to go through and pull any number of them up. So see. Shortcut command is Control K, Control U to uncomment. Okay. All right. So in this one, okay. This is a for statement, beginning at 0, while the length of this array, while x is the less than the length of this array, increment by 1 each time through the array. And I didn't have to, but I put this in a block comment with the curly braces. I didn't have to because it's only one line. When you have only one line, you don't have to use the curly braces, but I think it's easier to see if you do have it that way. Okay, so what this one's going to do is it's going to loop through this array. The length is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3. There are 4 of them, so the length is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be 4. So as we loop through, it's going to be x is going to start at 0, and it's going to count through. If I put in equal sign, it would go all the way up to 4. And what would happen then? It would start off with 0, 1, 2, 3, and then it would be looking for another array position, and it wouldn't be there. So I need to make that less than. Okay, and then I display the pay rate, convert it to a string, make it currency. Okay, so let's try that. Debug, start debugging. And it gives me my pay rate each time through. Okay, pay rate, position, and the value. Alright, now this one I've got as arrays underscore demo, so I can go track that down. It's in my Visual Studio folder under projects in arrays demo. There it is. So all I need to do is to zip that up, and I would be ready to go. All right, that'll do it.